Welcome to the Wisdom and Liberation Path channel. Today, we'll talk about material life and the silent suffering of humanity. In our modern world, are material possessions truly the key to happiness? As society increasingly relies on material wealth to fulfill basic needs, we face unavoidable consequences. When material values become measures of success, we pay the price with ongoing pain and anxiety. In an age of rapid technological advancements, people often find themselves trapped in a cycle of materialism and psychological pressure. The struggle to meet material needs is not just external, it's an internal battle where the soul is torn between desires and fears. But does this really bring us joy and fulfillment? Today, let's dive into a universal truth. Everyone experiences struggles in life, whether it's wealth, fame, love, marriage, or the weight of anger and sorrow. These challenges are part of being human. As human beings, we constantly yearn for various things: success, love, fame, and material possessions. These desires can serve as powerful motivators, pushing us to strive and dedicate ourselves. However, it is precisely these desires that can lead to suffering. When we crave something we cannot attain, feelings of disappointment and emptiness arise. Even when we achieve what we long for, the joy is often fleeting, and we immediately find ourselves yearning for something else. This creates a vicious cycle. The more we pursue, the more we feel dissatisfied. Life becomes an endless battle, where happiness always seems just out of reach. As our desires remain unfulfilled, we easily overlook the simple values and precious moments in life. Ultimately, to find peace and happiness, we may need to learn to let go of our insatiable cravings, appreciating the simple things and living fully in the present. Only then can we truly discover inner tranquility. When I started exploring Buddhist teachings, I began to notice something profound. Everyone around me carries their own burdens. Even those who seem happy often hide their inner turmoil. We're constantly comparing ourselves to others, feeling pressure from society, and grappling with expectations. It's easy to get trapped in a cycle of suffering. Reflecting on this, I realized that pain often stems not just from what we lack, but from our struggle to accept what we have. We chase after big dreams and forget to appreciate the simple joys right in front of us. We get so caught up in worrying about the future that we overlook the beauty of the present moment. Buddhism teaches us that acknowledging our suffering is the first step toward finding peace. By understanding our pain, we can transform it into a deeper insight about ourselves and our lives. Instead of running away or resisting, facing our challenges can help us grow and evolve. Ultimately, it's about learning to live with gratitude. When we appreciate what we have and seek happiness in the small things, our suffering becomes less of a burden and more of a stepping stone on our journey toward enlightenment and inner peace. If you take a moment to look around, you'll quickly realize that suffering is something almost everyone experiences. Right within my own family, this pain unfolds every single day. Let me share the story of my relatives, Aunt Hoa and Uncle Ann. Aunt Hoa is a devoted mother, constantly worrying about her two children. Her son works in a distant and dangerous job, facing risks that most of us can only imagine. Aunt Hoa's heart is heavy with anxiety, as she feels powerless watching him struggle to make ends meet. This relentless worry steals her joy and peace of mind. Then there's her daughter, who has undergone a dramatic transformation since becoming a mother. Once a gentle and respectful young woman, she now battles postpartum depression. This shift is stark. She has become easily irritable, even snapping at her mother, something she would never have done before. As she navigates the challenges of motherhood, especially after the birth of her second child, the weight of her struggles seems to grow heavier. On top of all this, She juggles the pressures of work, adding to her stress and feelings of inadequacy. Every day, she fights to balance her responsibilities as a mother, her career, and her own personal desires. It feels as if she's losing herself in the process, caught in a cycle of exhaustion and despair. Let me tell you a story. In a big, quiet house, a heartbreaking story unfolds. The daughter, grappling with the overwhelming emotions of postpartum life after giving birth to her second child, finds herself trapped in a whirlwind of despair. Her firstborn, a sweet boy with curious eyes, comes home from school, only to stop short at the threshold. He looks at his mother from a distance, sensing her emotional wall. She's there, yet miles away, lost in her own struggle. As the baby cries, the house fills with tension. Instead of reaching out to soothe him, she storms out, leaving the infant's cries echoing through the empty rooms. How could she just walk away? Aunt Hoa thinks, her heart aching for the little one left behind. When Aunt Hoa tries to lend a hand, her efforts are met with fury. In moments of frustration, she yells at Aunt Hoa, who tries her best to help. "How dare you not watch the baby for me? You're driving me crazy. If you can't handle it, maybe I should just leave," she shouts, her words sharp and filled with anger. Aunt Hoa stands frozen, caught between her own hurt and the desire to support, feels both upset and heartbroken. She watches helplessly as her daughter sometimes throws the baby down in frustration, walking away to the hallway, lost in her thoughts, leaving behind a tense silence, the weight of her anger hanging thick in the air. Aunt Hoa's heart pounds in her chest, torn between anger and sorrow, and she knows her daughter is struggling, but fears what might happen if she pushes too hard. With each passing day, the situation worsens. The vibrant woman Aunt Hoa once knew seems like a distant memory, replaced by a shell consumed by despair. This cycle of pain began with the birth of the first child, but has intensified with the arrival of the second. Aunt Hoa's heart aches for the daughter she once knew, hoping desperately that she will find her way back to herself before it's too late. The pain Aunt Hoa and her family endure is not just a personal tale. It reflects the reality for many families. This reminds us that, while life can throw daunting challenges our way, sharing our burdens and seeking support can help us navigate through tough times. When we take a moment to understand and empathize with others' suffering, we can forge deeper connections and find light even in the darkest moments. She shared that whenever she thinks about her children's, tears fill her eyes, and she finds herself crying herself to sleep every night. Now let's dive into the story of Uncle An. He has 2 children, each wrestling with their own unique struggles. His daughter, the older one, works tirelessly, but is gripped by an obsession with saving. She's so frugal that she won't even spend on basic necessities, food, clothes, you name it. It's heartbreaking to see her hoarding money while her health suffers. Uncle An, with all his wisdom, tries to nudge her towards self-care, but she dismisses his advice. Even when it comes to spending just $1 on medicine, she'd rather endure the pain than part with her precious savings. Then, there's her younger brother, who's got his own battles. He's married with kids, but is facing serious setbacks in his business. The pressure to maintain an image weighs heavily on him, as he constantly worries about what others think. Social media has him in its grip. He feels compelled to post updates several times a day, always comparing himself to the seemingly perfect lives of others. This relentless cycle of comparison feeds his anxiety, leaving him feeling inadequate and lost. Despite his age and the wisdom that comes with it, Uncle An finds himself in a constant struggle against financial pressure, determined to support his son. He carries the heavy burden of responsibility, trying to help his family navigate these turbulent waters, all while wrestling with his own limitations. In this household, the tension is palpable. Uncle An, a once steady figure, now feels the weight of their expectations pressing down on him. It's a poignant reminder of how the pursuit of money can strain relationships and personal well-being, transforming love and care into a heavy cross to bear. Each day becomes a new challenge, a fight for understanding and connection amid the chaos of modern life. As society advances, people seem more dependent on material possessions than ever before. We find ourselves working tirelessly to satisfy an ever-growing list of needs and desires. It's common to witness someone laboring through the night just to afford the latest smartphone, sacrificing rest and well-being in the process. This relentless pursuit of material goods not only affects our physical health, but also takes a toll on our mental state. In the end, we must ask ourselves, are these possessions truly bringing us happiness, or are they merely adding to our stress and dissatisfaction? And this also happens to me. After my breakup, I felt utterly shattered, as if my heart had been ripped apart. The pain was unbearable, a deep ache that seemed to seep into every corner of my life. Each memory we shared echoed in my mind, amplifying the sense of loss. It was as if a part of me had vanished, leaving a void that felt impossible to fill. I grappled with the overwhelming sadness, searching for a way to heal, while the weight of the heartache pressed heavily on my soul. Even at work, there are times when we encounter difficult colleagues we'd prefer to avoid, yet we still have to face them daily. Their constant presence can turn mundane tasks into challenging interactions, creating an undercurrent of tension in the office. Each awkward exchange feels like a reminder of the friction that exists, draining our energy and focus. Despite our best efforts to remain professional, their behavior can sometimes leave us feeling frustrated and exhausted. It's a reminder that workplace dynamics can be just as complex as personal relationships, and finding a way to navigate them requires patience and resilience. Many people out there, despite their wealth, fame, and status, carry their own burdens. We often see glimpses of their personal lives in the media, revealing that they too struggle with issues like depression and anxiety. Behind the glamorous facade, they are driven by an intense fear of losing their wealth and reputation. This relentless pursuit of success often leaves them feeling isolated, as they work tirelessly to maintain their status. The pressure to uphold their image can be suffocating, and despite their external achievements, many feel trapped in a cycle of anxiety, longing for genuine connections and peace. It serves as a poignant reminder that no one is immune to suffering, regardless of their circumstances. Even the wealthy can suffer from the deep emotional pain of depression, often masked by their material success. Despite having financial security, they may feel isolated and unable to share their struggles, fearing judgment or misunderstanding. The pressure to maintain their status can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. Ultimately, their internal battles remind us that highlight the need for genuine connections and mental health support. In modern life, while material possessions offer convenience, they also bring suffering. This pain arises not only from scarcity, but also from psychological pressure and social disconnection. One form of suffering leads to another, creating a challenging cycle. It prompts us to reevaluate the true values of life and seek happiness in simpler, more meaningful things. Human suffering today is rooted in both material lack and the constant pursuit of desires. Instead of chasing material wealth, perhaps we should focus on finding peace and happiness in our surroundings. Life is a journey filled with challenges and pain, but how we confront these struggles is crucial. Remember, despite the hardships, we can find joy in small moments. True happiness lies not just in material things, but in meaningful connections with others. Reflect on what truly matters in your life. Thank you for joining us today on this journey of exploration and insight. We hope you found value in our discussion. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep seeking wisdom on your path to liberation. Thank you for joining me today. Let's continue exploring these ideas together in future episodes. Goodbye for now.